All right, welcome everyone. I'm going to be the facilitator for this event tonight. Welcome to the Virtual College Exploration for all Ohio students, sponsored by the Ohio Association for College Admission Counseling and StriveScan. Thank you for joining us tonight. I have just a few housekeeping announcements before I turn it over to our presenters this evening. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions that are happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at oacac.org. And then this presentation will be recorded and will be available within about a week at that same website I mentioned, which is oacac.org. So if you need to come back to the recording at any time, you'll be able to do that. So with those quick announcements, I'm going to turn it over to our presenters.
Right, hopefully that's working for everybody. Well, thank you all for joining us tonight. We are so happy to be here to present to you about The Ohio State University. My name is Tracy Schumann and I'm representing the Columbus campus this evening.
And good evening, I am Jennifer Fry. I am representing the regional campuses. I am located at the Mansfield campus.
And we're so glad to have Jennifer here because it's important that we talk about the system of Ohio State and the variety of options that you have of attending our great university. For those of you who don't know, we do have 5 regional campuses. You can see them listed here outside of the Columbus campus for you to attend. So we hope in tonight's presentation, you're going to learn a lot about the academic and out of classroom experiences, as well as the application and admissions process, and what that transition from a regional campus to the Columbus campus might look like for some students. So we'll go ahead and get started. Jennifer and I will be monitoring the Q&A best we can throughout the presentation, but we also may share leave some time at the end to address as many as we can amongst ourselves. So hopefully we'll be able to cover as much as we can. And if not, we will be certain to follow up with all of you for any questions that we might miss. So I do want to start off by talking about, I think, the important values that Ohio State holds. As we think about where we're at in our country right now, it's important that you understand what Ohio State is doing and, again, the values that we have. So as members of the Ohio State University, we condemn anti-Black racism and racism in all its forms, and we are committed to engaging, interrupting, and dismantling institutionalized racist structures. Ohio State's mission to prepare students to be leaders and engaged citizens calls us to demand and support change. You can learn more about what we're doing at the website that's listed here if you're looking to see the type of efforts Ohio State is leading on. So again, we're going to go ahead and get started, and no surprise that we're going to start talking about the academics at Ohio State and truly the powerhouse that we are. We are ranked as a top 20 public institution in the country, and we are also a tier 1 research institution. So what that means for you is that we are doing research at the highest levels. The size of Ohio State is also something that many students are familiar with. Amongst our campuses, between our undergraduate, professional, and graduate schools, we have over 65,000 students on our campuses. And so while we are very large, we also realize that that's a strength for us. It provides you opportunities. It provides you a wealth of experiences that you can take advantage of. And so we are also very committed to helping you find your community and making that large experience also small and manageable. I think one of the great things about Ohio State is that we offer over 200 majors for you to study, including additionally another 500 specializations and concentrations. So more than likely what you're looking to study, we have to offer. And again, while we are a research institution, those academic opportunities span all areas of study. So not just those STEM fields, not just those fields where you think I'm going to be in a lab doing research, but really across the College of Arts and Sciences and dance and performance and theater, just so many ways for you to maximize what you're interested in because of the offerings that we have. I'm going to turn it over to Jennifer right now so she can talk a little bit about the regional campus academic opportunities as well.
Thanks, Tracy. At the regional campuses, this is really where Ohio State shines with its breadth and opportunity, that you can start any of those 200 and majors at any of the 6 campuses that we have and that we offer throughout the state. We are committed to our students that are residents of Ohio to really find that fit. They have one campus that they may like that's in their backyard, or they may go to any of the campuses in the state of Ohio. With the 200 plus majors, every campus does have approximately 12 to 15 majors that you can actually complete the entire 4 years or entire time there on that regional campus. So there is just a lot of different options and available opportunities for students as they're looking at what their academics will be. And quite honestly, we know you're going to change your major. We know that, as you start to experience new things and new classes, we expect you to change your major, and that's okay. That's why we have so many that you can choose from. And we always recommend you go to majors.osu.edu to go and check them out. And so you can really explore them and more in depth.
That's a great point, Jennifer, because students certainly come in with 200 things to choose from. Sometimes you will learn about a major that you never even knew existed, but we certainly provide you the advising and support to help you make that right decision and get you those experiences within the classroom so that you find that right fit. Now, for some of our students, they are also interested in ways to have an enriched academic experience. And some students do that, are looking to apply to the Honors and Scholars Program to have that enriched experience. Now, the Honors and Scholars Program at Ohio State, they're truly 2 distinct programs under the same umbrella and provide students who are looking for that additional academic challenge and rigor and community program as well. So the honors program at Ohio State is very research intensive. Students have the opportunity to take more than 300 course offerings of honors courses, or we have more than 300 honors courses offered, that allows you to really work with select faculty who are really committed and passionate about what they're working on. It allows you to, again, do research, to get early involvement in that. And the class sizes in the honors classes are actually quite small. Often 25 are the largest class sizes you may be in. So if you're looking for an academically challenging, rigorous experience, you may consider applying to the honors program. Now, the scholars program is different. The scholars program, while has an academic feel to it, it is more of an out of classroom or co-curricular experience for students. There are 17 different themes for you to choose from. And they range from a wide variety of things, from the arts to leadership to sustainability. Again, a wide variety of things. And in the Scholars Program, in this living learning community that happens in the residence halls, you're going to be doing a variety of activities. So perhaps you're attending workshops together, going to speakers on campus, working with faculty. You're really engaged outside of the classroom in your Scholars Program. We do have the Honors and Scholars website listed there, so I encourage you to take advantage of looking at that to, again, understand the differences between those. Please note that if you are interested in applying to either of those programs, when you're completing the application to the Columbus campus, you are asked to write an additional essay. So there is an extra step for you to complete as you're applying to Ohio State if you're interested in either the Honors or Scholars Program. Jennifer, I'm going to have you talk about the learning through experience and things that students can take advantage of, both on the Columbus campus as well as our regional campuses as well.
That's great. As you know, the campuses, you really get the opportunity to make your experience as a Buckeye your own. You're really creating your own brand as you're finding out, what is it that I want to learn about? What do I want to explore? And you get to do that through such a variety of options. With Ohio State University, we have a phenomenal study abroad program. We go to all 7 continents. That does include Antarctica. We do some research down there. And so you do have those opportunities to study abroad and look within the college that your program is in, or also going to the Office of International Studies. They're going to be able to help you see what those programs are, anywhere from 3 weeks to 6 months. And really what those experiences really fit your interests. Internships are incredibly important. Internships is an opportunity for you as a student to take what you're learning in the classroom and then see how it works in the real world. How do we actually earn money? How do we earn a career? How do we earn a living by what we are learning in the classroom. And you can start those from the very first summer that you have, or your very first year as a student. And we welcome that, because we will find about 70 to 80% of our students will be offered long-term employment from a result of those internships. And that's okay if you turn it down. If you don't want to accept that position, then that's okay, because you will probably have a phenomenal letter of recommendation from that position. The other piece is that's a great opportunity to find out that, oh, maybe I still like this field, but maybe not that path of the field. Great time to experience that and really understand, so you can make those moves and pivots as you work through your college career and go around. With the regional campuses, you have such an opportunity to be involved in every level. And you don't have to wait till you're a senior. You don't have to wait until you've hit so many credit hours. You really can engage on that from an early time. So rather it be through education and you're doing some field experience, or you're in business and you're wanting to do research, the economic impact, of the pandemic in a rural community. Those are all research opportunities that students are engaging on from the very, very beginning that they're going into.
Great. We can kind of talk a little bit back and forth on this slide too. And I think just to piggyback off what Jennifer said, one of the great things about Ohio State is we're very confident in the academics that we are going to offer you and that experience that you're going to get in the classroom because of the quality of our programs, because of the quality of our faculty. But we want to ensure that you're getting that out of classroom experience as well to really complement that. And so those experiences like internships, like study abroad, those are sort of the things that give you that holistic undergraduate experience. And that also continues on through the work that our students are doing outside the classroom when it comes to the student life opportunities. So I think one of the great things about where we're located throughout the state and in the city of Columbus with our regional campuses is that we have great partnerships. Whether students are taking advantage of internships in those cities, whether they're getting involved in community service opportunities, we're really great partners in accessing the resources that you would find in a city environment. So for example, in the city of Columbus, obviously being the state capital, there's lots of great opportunities for students to intern, for co-op opportunities, to take advantage of professional sports. The Broadway shows come to town. So again, those sort of great educational, but also social opportunities that we can provide you as well. You will find a variety of housing options amongst all of our campuses. And in fact, I'll have Jennifer talk a little bit about the regionals because they probably have nicer housing than we have on the Columbus campus.
Oh, it is phenomenal how unique it is on every campus. For Mansfield campus and Newark campus, we have university housing. So you have that option of living through the residence life that is provided through the university, or housing options that are close to campus. And that's what Lima and Marion has, options that are not university housing, but there's great housing there next to campus. HCI Worcester does have on-campus university housing, and there is a requirement to live on campus. Mm-hmm. So is there just a variety of options that fit for you as a student as you're living in these communities? And what's neat about these communities, and I'll be honest, I'm a transplant to Ohio, so moving to Mansfield was very new to me, and they welcome the students. They welcome the college students that we have here, and every community does that. Anywhere you go, if you yell OH, I'm sure some of you just said IO, that you're going to hear that, and they love doing that. And it's exciting to see that, and I even see that in the airport when I'm going places. So having that availability to meet friends and meet future friends and lifetime friends that you have, or the world gets really small as you get into your majors, right, Tracy, that you start seeing people and seeing them, even years after college, and you're like, I remember we were both at Mansfield, or we were both at Newark, whatever it may be. And so really giving back to the communities where you're at, giving back to the state that you live as well. And those student organizations, we have over 2,000 of them here within Ohio State. And if there's something that we don't have already, we welcome you to create that student organization. This is your opportunity to share your talents and your gifts with others, and have those unique similarities that you have. So get yourself and 2 friends, and then a faculty or staff member to be an advisor, and you get to have those student organizations. We also have community organizations that will oftentimes have a student chapter. So if you have an organization within the community you're in, whether it be Columbus or Lima or Mansfield or any of them, you know, you will have that support and get to even have even some more opportunities to really connect with business leaders and other resources within the communities that you're part of, and find some of those other 500,000 living alumni, right, in the nation. You're going to see them in your community through the alumni clubs and other opportunities that you see people. So student life is just really alive and well, and I think it's really going to be what you make of it too.
Absolutely. And one thing, Jennifer, I always like to tell students too, is that how actively engaged our campuses are. So students aren't going home on the weekends. And you know, when you think about when you think about students coming to our campuses, they're coming from all over the state of Ohio, through all over the country, the world, particularly at the Columbus campus. So you can feel confident that there's always going to be something to do. There's something going on. And, you know, as you get involved in those organizations, the leadership skills that you gain, you know, how to plan events, you know, before you know it, you might be working on something that you've never done before. And but you're gaining these valuable skills that ultimately are going to help you when you go into your career field or into graduate and professional school. Again, just a lot of those things that can be fun, but at the end of the day also benefit you as well.
Mm-hmm.
Jennifer, I'm gonna let you start talking about this slide, and I'll kind of wrap up at the end with the moral scholarship.
Perfect. With diversity, as I was saying earlier, that not only are you bringing your talents and unique opportunities and what you've experienced, but you're also getting to join with fellow students in your freshman class and across the university of those 65,000 students, that you get to really learn. You have the opportunity to learn from others, engage in dialogue with others, and really experience different cultures and different discussions that you may have. I mean, these pictures are just a few of what are.
Jennifer, I think you froze up a little bit. So I'm going to pick up and keep going. But you were making some great points about diversity and how we really value that on our campuses. And diversity comes in a variety of ways, whether it's where you're coming from the world, your culture, your traditions, your beliefs, your majors. You know, again, those are all bringing different perspectives. And we have a variety of ways that we express the importance of diversity. So whether it's through the Multicultural Center or the Office of Diversity and Inclusion, that provides a variety of activities, workshop, resources, events for you to learn and to be involved across campus with students from, again, from a variety of different places. Now, I think one of the best ways that we talk about diversity or show the importance of diversity on our campuses is through the Moral Scholarship Program. The Moral Scholarship Program is actually one of the premier diversity and social justice-based scholarships in the country. It truly is for students who in your high school or in your community have been active leaders, who've been actively involved in diversity and inclusion, who have been change agents when it comes to social justice issues, and who've actually just really been leaders in their community. Now, the Moral Scholarship Program is wonderful because for those students who are awarded, there is a scholarship component. For students, it could be the cost of tuition if you are an Ohio resident. And for some students, it may even be the full cost of attendance. So that's covering tuition, fees, room and board. So quite a scholarship program. But we do say program intentionally because it's more than just the scholarship. It's also being part of this great organization and this great program during your time at Ohio State. The Moral Scholarship Program students are some of the best leaders we have on our campus because they're doing a variety of things. They are getting involved with, again, diversity and inclusion issues on campus. They are attending workshops. They may even be taking classes around leadership. We also have a learning community for students, which is almost like a living, working lab in Blackburn House. And there's some travel opportunities for students in MSP. So if you are interested in being considered for this program, if you are a change agent in your high school or in your community, please consider applying to MSP. Similar to Honors and Scholars, there is an additional essay for you to complete when you're applying to the Columbus campus. And that's actually a good transition because we're going to talk now about how to apply to the Columbus campus. The first thing you need to do is to complete the common application. There is one application for the Columbus campus, and that is the common application. For domestic students, there's a $60 fee. If you're an international student, it is $70. And we do accept fee waivers for students who are eligible. You will need to work with your school counselor to have your official high school transcripts sent to us. But for this year, for our seniors, we have actually gone test optional. We know COVID-19 has been a huge barrier for students to take tests or take multiple tests to improve those scores. So we don't want any barriers for you to apply. So we are truly test optional for this admission cycle. But that also includes for admissions, merit scholarships, honors and scholars, moral scholarship, and direct enrollment to our programs. So know that, again, we are truly test optional. And so if you don't have a test score or you don't have one that you feel is reflective of your ability, you can be confident that your application will be reviewed holistically, where we value all of the things that you provide us, from your academics, the rigor of your curriculum, your activities, your essay, as well as perhaps a letter of recommendation that you can submit as well. My letters of recommendation are optional. As someone who reads applications, I would say about 95% of them, students submit them. So please do that, because it's also helpful for us to learn more about you in the admissions process. Now, a couple deadlines that are really important that I want you to focus in on tonight. Our early action deadline is November 15th, and that is also a completion deadline. So to be considered early action at Ohio State, you must have a completed application to us by November 15th. That's really important because it's also the merit scholarship deadline for the Columbus campus. So if you'd like to be considered for any of the admissions scholarships that we offer, please complete your application by November 15th. We will also give you priority consideration if you're interested in the Honors or Scholars Program, the Moral Scholarship Program, or any of the majors within the College of Engineering. The other bonus is that you get a decision by the end of January. So it won't be long before, a few weeks from now, we will start reviewing applications and getting those decisions out by the end of January. Now, we do have a regular decision of February 1st, so you still have time if you don't meet that initial deadline. And that also coincides with our FAFSA and special scholarship application. Jennifer, I see you're back, so you can talk about the regional application process.
Yes, thank you for putting up with my internet connectivity there. Here for the regional campuses, if you are a resident of the state of Ohio and you graduate from an accredited high school, you are guaranteed to be a Buckeye. You will start, you can apply for either the Columbus campus, or you can also apply directly to a regional campus. You do not apply multiple times. So we get this question all the time. They're like, I want to apply to Columbus campus, but if something happens, then I want to make sure I get into a regional campus. Good deal. You don't have to put down a whole nother application. Just put a regional campus as your second choice if you would like. You do not need to complete a second application. If you have a question about that, just reach out to the regional campus you're interested in. A complete application for a regional campus, if you are applying directly to a regional campus, is our online application. It is not the Common App. It is its own application, and you can see that at the apply.osu.edu. You also need your official high school transcripts with the senior schedule. The reason we need these transcripts is to verify where you're graduating from and that you're on track to graduate. ACT or SAT scores, they're optional for 2021. They do not affect your admission, but they are helpful for that next step, which is orientation, which is going to be when you do your placement testing for math or English. Deadlines, February 1st, very, very important deadline. If you remember nothing else tonight, right, Tracy, make sure you know this deadline, February 1st. You want to make sure you get your applications in with all the supporting documentation. So you need to give your high schools at least a couple weeks to get everything submitted electronically, and get it in by February 1st. What that does is it allows you the opportunity to be considered for all the financial aid and all the scholarship opportunities. If life happens and you're like, I missed February 1st, you can still apply to a regional campus. Cannot apply to Columbus, but you can apply to a regional campus. So please keep that in mind. If along the way when you've done the application and you're seeing on your to-do list that you know your counselor has sent in your transcripts and you're not seeing it, please reach out to us. That is what Tracy and my, our job is, and our staff is to be your advocate with the application process. Double check, maybe we have it and it hasn't been connected to your application yet, whatever it is. We can help you navigate that system. So that's what we're here for. As we said, with our 6 locations across the state, I welcome you to take the opportunity to check out every campus. You have one in your backyard. You can make it almost like your own passport program. Go to each campus, see what they have, look at the community. If you come here, you need to come and go to snow trails, or you need to go to the carousel. We just have some great opportunities for all of the students and all of the residents of the state of Ohio. That website, osu.edu across the state, is a great opportunity for you to get a link for every campus, but then also to watch a video that is actually going to show you snippets of each campus as well. So I welcome you to go to that when you have the opportunity. Our newest major, and I'm so excited about this, our newest major that we have at Ohio State is the Bachelor of Science in Engineering Technology. This is the very first year that students are entering this program. So they're our inaugural year taking these classes. They're getting paired up with their mentors right now in the manufacturing industry, doing some really neat things this first year. This is with the College of Engineering. This is an Ohio State University College of Engineering degree. It is only offered on the regional campuses. Manufacturers across the state of Ohio, they approached Ohio State a few years ago and said, hey, we know your graduates know their stuff. They're going through a great program, they're going through a rigorous program, but we need a different kind of program for some of our positions. We want them coming right out of Ohio State, ready to take over the leadership of an entire manufacturing operation of a floor. So rather than just a production line, they're actually taking over the leadership of the floor. And this is really neat, because in the past they would see a outstanding employee, train them in all the leadership, train them in the behind the scenes work, and work them through the system. They're still going to do that, right? Those internships are going to help you, that inaugural training they do, but they want somebody who gets it, who gets the manufacturing, that they get the engineering concepts. They understand how it all works together on the floor, how different lines work together for anything that happens later. If maybe updates, it may be improvements, maybe expansion of the factory that's there. So really taking that systems approach from the engineering side and the production side to the front office, to the business office, the human resources office. So to that management level. You will have that opportunity to see behind the scenes, possibly at Honda, possibly where they make all the cereal bags in North America, right here in Mansfield. And I've asked them to make it easier to open those bags, let me tell you. But so that is something that you get to be a part of right here in the regional campuses with the Bachelor of Science in Engineering Technology. As you look at those costs, I know that's the big question. What is it going to cost to attend college? Here you see some differences in the prices. For the regional campus right there, $8,237, I'll say $8,300. That is for the entire year for tuition. That is going to be 12 to 18 credit hours. 12 is the minimum for full time. If you take 15 credit hours, you take 13 credit hours, it's going to be the same price. So about $4,100 a semester. Now, because the regional campuses have optional housing available, that is where you will then go to the housing.osu.edu, housing.osu.edu, and you will see some costs. And you'll get to see, on average, with a meal plan for housing, it's going to be approximately $8,000 to $9,000 for the year for that. So keep that in mind. And then we always have the indirect costs, because it's more than just going to class. You also have the notebooks, you have the books, you have the gas, transportation, and getting around. So really looking at that price tag and going to our website that's listed there on the slide will also help you work through those costs. So when you get your financial aid package, or you look at the scholarships and you're thinking, well, Tracy and Jennifer told me tuition was only, you know, $8,000 or $13,000, whatever it is, and yet I'm seeing it for $21,000. That's where those extra costs are coming from. And Tracy, I'll let you talk about some Columbus costs as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we've combined on the Columbus campus both the tuition fees, room and board, because there aren't many changes like there would be at the regional campuses. Students certainly have the options, the type of housing they'd like to live in. So some students may live with one other student, I should say, maybe 3 others. And those things are varied across the board. But again, this is a good estimated cost for total cost of attendance for both Columbus and the regional campuses. It's also important to know, though, that we are really committed to keeping Ohio State affordable and accessible, particularly to our Ohio residents. So there are a variety of different affordability initiatives that we have. And both of these costs that you see here are before any scholarships or financial aid have been awarded. So just be mindful of that too, that we also want to provide you lots of ways that we can make Ohio State even more affordable through the admissions office and through some of the other scholarship opportunities that we have. And this also includes our alumni scholarship program. As Jennifer alluded to earlier, it's important to meet those deadlines, particularly that February 1st deadline, because we do have a variety of non-admissions related scholarships. One of them is this alumni scholarship program for students at the Columbus campus. It will open on November 1st and will be awarded to students who've done very well in the classroom, who are actively involved, who based on where they live, if there is a chapter that hosts a scholarship, it will be then determined if they're eligible for that. As Jennifer mentioned, with 500,000 living alums who are very active and passionate, we have lots of alumni who are giving scholarships to their local chapters to help support students. The website that you see listed there can also give you some additional information, but it's important to know that when you apply to Ohio State, we will start communicating with you through email about these types of opportunities. So please continue to check your email, create that student login so that you can take advantage of these other opportunities that we have. And you'll be surprised the type of additional dollars that you can take advantage of to help make Ohio State even more affordable. Now, as you can imagine, as we're coming to you virtually for a college fair, we are not offering any visits to campus through really the end of December. And Jennifer, I'll let you talk about this too, but our goal not only is to keep our current students safe and limiting the number of people coming in and out, but obviously to keep all of you safe. And so we have been doing just our visits virtually, whether it's been visiting high schools this way, or some of the programming that we've created on all of our campuses. So we've been creating admissions overviews, some current student panels, some guided tours, again, a variety of ways for you to still learn about Ohio State, for you to still get engaged with us and get all the information that you need, but knowing that hopefully early next year, we can start bringing you to campus so you can really get that feel and walk around and see what we have to offer. This is the contact information for the Columbus campus for undergraduate admissions. Feel free to contact us if you leave here today. And I know we have some questions waiting for us. I see them here out of the corner of my eye that we will get to. But you leave here today and think, oh, I wish I would have asked that question. I wish, I would have gotten more information about that. Please reach out to us. Again, we're happy to help. Our financial aid office is happy to help. We really want to be great resources for you as you're going through this process.
All right, Tracy, we have some questions here. I'll be fielding them.
Okay.
So I'm trying to group them together too. We have some great questions. If you have some as you go, please type them in the Q&A, and we'll certainly work with as we get through them. We have one in regards to test scores. We have a bunch of questions in regard to test scores, which is great. Do you take the average ACT or SAT, or do we just take the best score?
Great question. So for students who do submit an ACT or SAT test score for admissions, we will use the highest composite. So the highest test score, the best you did, is what we will use for admissions and for scholarship review. We do not super score, but we will give you the best chance overall based on that composite.
Okay. And is the essay required if we are able to take the ACT or SAT?
We do not require the writing portion of the ACT or SAT for admissions. There is an essay on the common application that you have to complete, but not on the standardized test that you have to.
Okay. And does early action bind us to Ohio State?
That's a great question. Early action does not bind you to Ohio State. It allows you to still apply to other schools, to be admitted, to enroll other places. But it does give you some of those benefits, you know, the scholarship consideration, priority consideration for some of our special programs. So if you want to be considered for any of that, I highly recommend that you complete your application by November 15th, but you are not bound to Ohio State.
Great. Do we, in applications, does Ohio State look at the weighted GPA or unweighted?
We will look at the weighted GPA if that's what your school provides us. So essentially, every school does a little bit differently. If we get the unweighted, we'll use that. But if weighted is provided, we will use weighted as well.
Okay. We have a question in regards to test scores. How are we evaluating our applications if we have somebody who submits test scores and somebody who does not submit test scores? How are those really being looked at similarly, making the admission decision?
That's a great question, and one I've been getting a lot. As you can imagine, this is our first year going test optional. But for us, in some respects, it isn't that big of a change because we do a holistic review of our applicants. And again, meaning we're looking at a variety of factors, not just a test score. So a student who has a test score versus a student who does not, there is no advantage or disadvantage. We're truly looking at your class performance, the rigor of your curriculum, the essay that you write, the activities and leadership involvement that you've had in our review. And so there's never been one thing that gets you into Ohio State. There's never been one thing that keeps you out. I get that all the time, you know, what's the minimum GPA I need, or minimum test score? There is no minimum because of our holistic review. We know that students, based on our review, can be successful in a variety, can show that and demonstrate that success in a variety of ways. So not having a test score is not a detriment at all.
Perfect. I can handle the next few, give you a chance here. As a
Sure.
they want to know if they can apply to Ohio State somehow. As a junior, really the only way you could apply is if you were thinking about taking College Credit Plus or our Academy program, and in that way. But if it is for post high school, then no, you do need to wait until August 1st. That is when the application does open for that next fall. So our application for autumn 21 opened August 1st of 2020. So keep that in mind. So if you are a junior, just keep going through all these recommendations of going through college visits and just seeing what you're most interested in. Additionally, with College Credit Plus, how Ohio State handles the programs that were taken during high school, we want you to include that on your application. You may currently be in College Credit Plus classes, post-secondary classes, and then ultimately you're going to put that down on your application. And then when you are completed with the classes, you will need to submit those transcripts, and those need to be submitted electronically directly from the institution you took the post-secondary classes from. So we can then evaluate them for transfer credit when you are, once you're admitted and start to enroll for classes.
I'm also seeing another CCP question, Jennifer, for you about if being admitted to Ohio State. Does that mean if we've earned college credit, let's say, for example, for English, does that mean we've earned that credit at Ohio State? Do we still have to take it?
That's a great question. This is for all transfer credit questions. I would look at transferology.com. It is a great resource to tell you how the credits from one high school or from one institution will transfer into another institution, because this way you're looking at college to college or university to university. So you can look at that to see. I always recommend if students are going to be taking some post-secondary credit, they look and see what is required at Ohio State, because if you need a composition class, then you don't want to take a literature class. It will come in as credit that you will earn, but you want to make sure it fits the right type of class to take care of that requirement in the program.
I also see a question here about, can you play sports if you go to one of the regional campuses?
That we have this question all the time, and ROTC, people are interested in that. When it comes to the sports side, you cannot live on the regional campuses and be involved in that sport. If you are being recruited to play a sport for Ohio State, you will need to be on the Columbus campus. But for other areas such as ROTC or being a member of the band, you can certainly be on the regional campuses. We have students who do that all the time. The drum major a couple years ago was actually a student at the Newark campus. We've had students who have done ROTC and they commute then. It's early. It's an early morning because they do start their workouts early on the Columbus campus, but you can do that in that way.
All right, there's a few questions here about the honors program that I'll just talk to. So the honors program, yes, in some ways it might be similar to what you've experienced in high school. Sort of those courses that are extra challenging, that provide you, additional rigor, might have some additional homework to them. But you can think of it this way too, is that it's like that, but in the college level, it's going to be even more rigorous. So we're going to challenge you to go even further in those courses, to do some additional research, to do some additional work. So yes, I think that's a good introduction, your high school experience. But one of the things that we also do with the honors program, as students in their first year are required to live in one of 3 designated residence halls throughout campus. There are 3 honors residence halls, and so students can live in one of those 3. What's nice about that is you're building community. It's a way for you to get to know other students who have similar interests and similar motivations as you. And again, take that large university that Ohio State is and bring it down to something that's a little bit smaller. I think one of the other things that's great about Ohio State is how accessible it is to our students. Students through the CODA busing system allows us to have you access the city of Columbus. So that's part of your student fee, where you have a bus pass to get you all around the city and to access all of those fun things we talked about. But we also have a busing system right on campus. And so while we are a large place, walking from one end of campus to another in the middle of winter might not be ideal. We do have a campus bus system to get you where you need to go. And between looking at the apps and the routes, it's actually really easy to navigate both our campus and the city of Columbus.
All right, Tracy, we have a couple merit-based scholarships, and you may want to remind the group the web address for merit-based scholarships as well. But we have a question about if they have to apply early action to be considered for merit scholarships.
Yeah, absolutely. So for the Columbus campus, you must complete your application by November 15th, that early action deadline, to be considered for merit scholarships. Merit scholarships are based solely on your academics. So based on either your GPA or your GPA and test scores, depending on what you're able to send us, we will make a decision on the type of scholarship award you will get. Now, please know, scholarships at Ohio State at the Columbus campus are competitive and are not guaranteed. So it's really your best chance is to meet that deadline to make sure that you're considered and that you're in the running to be eligible for those scholarships. But we do our best to award as many students as we can on the merit side. But again, we're also going to find ways outside of the admissions office for you to apply, as well as provide financial aid opportunities and need-based aid through the FAFSA.
Great. A couple of things here. How can we stay connected with events and school-related news at OSU? Social media is phenomenal. We have Twitter, we have the Snapchat, we have Facebook, and also our website. And we do have an Ohio State app that you can download that will keep you up to date with everything that is happening. Similarly, if you are a student at the regional campus, you have all the benefits within the Ohio State umbrella. So you can get football tickets, you can go to events and speakers on the other campuses. You can just engage in all those different ways. So just really important to be aware of that. We know we have a lot of really great questions that everyone is asking. And I just ask that you go to osu.edu and you can actually search some of those questions in there. And we would very much like to follow up with you some of those answers at the end as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to get a transcript of the questions that are still in the Q&A, and so we can follow up with all of you as we can navigate through them. Hopefully we answered as many as possible. And I just want to, on behalf of Jennifer and myself, thank you all for participating tonight. It was great to have so many good questions and have a big turnout. Thank you again. Good luck this year in school. Hang in there. And as always, go Buckeyes.
Go Bucks.
All right. Thank you, Tracy and Jennifer. Thank you all for joining us tonight. If you wouldn't mind, we'll have a survey that will be sent to you right after you close out of this window. So keep an eye out for that and go ahead and answer that 4-question survey for us. You can sign up for more sessions just like this at oacac.org. And then remember, this recording will be this session will be recorded and available at that same website, oacac.org. So if you want to go back and rewatch this or send it to somebody else, that's a great resource for you. So thank you to Tracy and Jennifer. Thank you all for joining us tonight. That concludes this presentation. Good luck, everyone.